A neighbour of mine is an expert in optics and lenses. I was intrigued by his obsession with capturing images of mysterious earth lights, which he claimed were hovering over our district. Eamon saw these lights as a possible sign of extraterrestrial intrusion on Earth and got himself invited to a SETI conference in California. SETI means the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, and they are real, serious NASA-type scientists, and they're terrified of UFO-type people, and suspected Eamon of being one, despite his science talk.
I don't know if you're familiar with Project Hessdalen. It's
Yes.
a Norwegian
Yes.
team from a Norwegian
In fact, I have somebody coming to give a talk on that in a meeting in Toulouse in October.
My interest in these earth lights began some years earlier when I travelled to Fatima in Portugal and met a man who was one of the last living witnesses to what was possibly the greatest manifestation of earth lights ever seen. I had no interest in UFOs and had quite a disdain for science fiction, but I could not but notice that this man's tale fitted well a classic UFO sighting. This strange revelation set me on a quest that eventually led me to Norway, to the valley of Hessdalen. The inhabitants of the valley have been seeing strange lights hovering over and near them for almost a generation. I thought such things only happened in the wide prairies of America, but here among a people much less prone to exaggeration, lights were moving through their woods, by the river, and up on the moor. There are other places right now in the world where earth lights are seen, but unlike Hessdalen, there is no regular surveillance of these shifting lights. The valley is a mecca for those wanting to understand the mystery. Both amateur and professional come bearing their differing notions of how to grapple the puzzle. Lacking the tools of science, I became dependent on these people and their quite basic equipment. Each night they would monitor the valley, trying to trap these elusive lights. I moved among them, hoping to be at the right place, at the right time.
Well, Hessdalen phenomenon is just intriguing physical phenomenon, which I knew since 1992, which was the day in which I contacted Professor Erlingstrand. 2 years later, I started to take part to this research as an astrophysicist, as I realized myself that these light balls can be studied by using exactly the same techniques that we use to study stars in optical astronomy. We had last year and the year before 2 explorative missions to Hessdalen, in which we employed also radio equipment, which is sensible to the very low frequency range. These objects are very luminous. If they are very luminous, we need a very short exposure time for spectroscopy and photometry.
Massimo is shadowed by the memory of seeing something greater than a light, a thing resembling a machine.
Now, I'm only speculating here, Massimo.
Yes?
Is it possible that the energy itself has an intelligence in which it's able to mimic the situation within the environment?
I don't know. I have not sufficient elements to tell this. I can only say that sometimes there is a geometric shape, just sometimes, but I have no demonstration that it is due to an intelligence.
Like me, these young students have been waiting many nights for the light to appear. They are led by the most persistent light hunter in the valley, Erlingstrand.
We scout for lights all over the valley, and when someone sees light, they shout out, "I saw light!" And then we walk over to the computer and check out, and yes, there was a line. Very good. Then we have a coincidence where both light and the line occurred at the same time.
With all their eyes, cameras and telescopes, they are keeping watch on all horizons. Eventually, a light appears out of the far distance.
Alle står og peker, jo. Hva da? Det et lysutslag. Blink.
Det der var fenomenet.
Fenomenet.
10 sekunder. Over horisonten, der igjen.
They saw their light, caught the souvenir on video, but no science was advanced. What was making that light? Only a clear, near spectrograph could tell. I seem to be going nowhere, but back in Ireland I met 3 astronomy graduates with time on their hands. I joked that they should apply their stargazing talents to the Hessdalen phenomenon.
Do you want to just try it out?
Eamon offered them his own big, purpose-built swivel spectrograph.
Still moving?
It might just work, but from what we've seen over the last couple of days, we could get a much cheaper spectrograph that you can buy already made in any science store, like, and it'll do a much better job.
Right.
Oh, that's it!
That's, yeah.
Packs up nice and neat.
The reason
the camera, yeah.
Jeez, it's very wee, isn't it?
It's a cool looking camera though.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's actually a great digital camera.
Do you have faith in it? For 21 years, Erling has nurtured interest in the valley and has been most steadfast in the resolving of the riddle.
Several lights onto one which seems to be some kind of object or black thing which connect these 3 lights. Yeah, you have it here. 2 yellow lights in the back, or yellow, white, and a red one in front. It moved 20 kilometers on a little bit more than 2 seconds, 2.4 seconds. So it's close to, I think it's 30,000 kilometers an hour. Yes, but no sound.
3 doubting youngsters with equipment chosen for ease rather than accuracy. Their complete disbelief in Erling's pictures worried me. I needed allies now, not scoffers.
Last night I got another spectrum the night before. They're weak but sufficient to make a good analysis already now. And I got about 4 photographs with this camera and 2 photographs with this wide-angle camera. With that spectrum I will be able to compare it with the one of last year, and probably will be able to reach the point.
Having figured the light's intense heat, it would take still further analysis to determine the light's origin.
Of the ground, samples practically, because an industry has given financial support for analysis of electronic microscopy and the plasma spectroscopy of the ground samples. Erling Strand spoke about a sighting of a light which was just passing just here, along the river.
So much. We're interested in the features of the ground.
When I put the Geiger only near the dust. It is fluctuating from 6 up to 19. Have you any explanation about that? You are geophysical.
Not off the top of my brain, but you know, I'll think about it.
To have my view on this phenomenon. Well, in the early years of this phenomenon, it was more of a pilgrimage. A lot of people who never went to Hessdalen, they came from the local, from Røros, they came from down the valley. They wanted to get up there and see what the other people had seen. The one that really fronted, you might say, fronted this thing was a miner who had retired.
Det så ut som det var en 15-20 meters lengde på det, før det løftet seg opp. Og da var det som du ser i julgran med toppen ned. Og så når det kom ca. 50 meter opp i lufta, så ble det plutselig bare som i rør, plastrør. Og der spruta varme ut, som i fontene. Nå kan du se det. Skal vi se. Han kløver seg, ser du det?
Yeah, it's splitting kind of.
What the?
Liz was polite and asked the old man for likely places to view the phenomenon from.
Around here?
Ja. Der fint så. Der finnes enda. Her kan du stoppe.
Right.
Der.
There.
Ja.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
The saddle known as Hessdalen afforded a fine view of the valley and was accessible.
Yeah, actually, you know what, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right, we can't see into the valley, but we do have a good wide field.
Yeah.
And we can see all the way south down there as well.
Yeah.
I don't really know what I'm looking for. I don't know if I'm looking for something big up in the sky or like kind of a light like you see already.
I think so, well, yeah.
I think no chance of a big fireball roaring through the sky.
That would be cool.
Erling said that sometimes there's some short that you feel that they've happened.
Oh.
Hvor mange av dere har sett det? Da har jo dere et litet inntrykk av hvordan det er, hvordan det ser ut, hvordan det kan være. Og disse her har jo sett det mange ganger. Og det vi tenkte på nå er at de skal fortelle noen av sine historier for dere først. Kanskje stille noen spørsmål i forbindelse med historien hvis dere er noe å lure på.
Og når vi satt opp på høyden der, så tog vi på sånne lys. Og det der lyset, de stod med jevne mellomrom slik bortover. Vi satt jo og følte med der, vi hadde kikkerter, og så begynte de å pulsere slik. Da visste vi jo hva det var vi så.
Og når jeg satt der da, så kom det i lys fra sø og gikk i nord. Og det var ingen lyd eller noen ting. Og det var ca. 250 meter unna med det der.
I sommer da, så har jeg kommet i snakk med folk som har vært på Ruggedalen. Nord for Røros. De har sett det imot Hessdalen i 1957. Og det ble sett under siste verdenskrig over her.
Ja, det hadde vært fint om det hadde vært romskip. Men det som jeg ikke skjønner er hvorfor ikke de lander eller noe sånt. Prøver å få kontakt.
Jeg har lyst på å sitte med fint og se det. Jeg må være for lite ute. Jeg vet om hva jeg er. Og jeg er 75 år, vet du. Og da...
Kjenner du det når du skal stå sånn?
Ja, jeg kjenner jeg har vært i alles nå, ja. Jeg har vært bra hit, men tenk på jeg er alles når jeg sier jeg.
I do know that if we wanted to say exceptional claims, we have to furnish exceptional proofs. And we do not have them yet, but we have important clues of what might be. Also from photometry I can reconstruct all the shape of the light, and according to the shape I can say if it is a plasma or if it is not a plasma. According to that, the Hessdalen lights are not looking like a classical plasma, but it's typical of a uniformly illuminated solid. Everyone would say, oh, so this is a UFO, it's a machine. I am trying to search any kind of possible natural phenomena which can simulate this effect. The UFO stuff is very dangerous. I try to stay apart from these people, also because they try, both sides, the skepticals and the extraterrestrialists, try always to instrumentalize my work. To make me an instrument of their assertions, of their faith and of their dogmas. So I stay very, very apart from those groups because I want to save this research. This is the most important. I do it for the world, not for myself or for my ego.
Right, we hike on, folks.
Let's go. Break.
Yeah.
Their skepticism growing, the three astronomers still wanted to give the old miners' advice a chance, so set out for another night watch. Before dawn breaks, our doubters are going to have a change of attitude.
That's fierce bright, like. That was not there. That's very bright. Look, it's bright. That's fierce bright.
It's far too bright to be a star.
You getting on the video camera?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's worth getting a spectrum of anyway, just
Definitely.
Jesus,
We can find out.
No way is there enough light.
We don't know. Hang on. Okay, it's 3:44 now. Right. So it's about 3:30. This sort of stuff started showing up.
Morning. God, that was
It was literally like somebody went click click, turned on the star, really bright, close star, and then
click click,
click click, turned it off. We didn't discuss anything. We just knew like there was something new had appeared in the sky, and so I don't know.
If it's like that the whole time, it'll be hard to capture. So hopefully it'll stay still for a bit longer, or stay in the sky for a bit longer in the future.
We need it.
Because I mean, by the time we got up off the seats, as you said, it was pretty much gone. Like.
But it was really strange because it wasn't there afterwards. Like there was no star.
No clouds. There was no remnant
like,
of it at all. Just.
It wasn't an airplane. So it was. I've never seen anything like it anyway, and it was strange.
You have seen the phenomenon?
Well, we don't like to say. Well, I'd rather see something more. It's just because it happened so fast, and but we saw something. We couldn't say exactly what it was.
By the next day, the unsureness has already set in. Their frustration was that they could not get a worthwhile spectrum. Aiming, focusing, shooting was too difficult.
Stops again, and
the local pastor suggests a sound training in shooting might help.
So I'd like to think I'm a pretty good finder.
New load. Remember the security.
The odds of aiming, shooting and trapping our mythic shifting lights in a cheap spectrograph are infinitesimally slimmer than killing a grouse on a far hilltop.
That Erling Strand declared in one of his reports that when the lights were nearby, they felt a rocking motion, like to be in a boat. And this is a typical effect of the very low frequency on the brain. It would be very interesting to study the medical card of the people in the valley in order to probe.
The impact they have had on people has not been as strong as you might expect. Being a doctor, some people have said to me, might this be a hallucination? Can we trust these things? Are they sound, mentally sound? Well, I said, I think I have never observed any deviations in their mental capacity. So I think what they have seen, they have seen.
Is it possible that their only communication would be through things like electronic signals, patterns that had geometry with embedded math? I mean, that's, if you go to Germany and crop circles, there are things that do this.
Yeah.
Could somebody be sending us signals?
Yeah. Could it be that they're people because, and the whole point is to get the right people together for some reason.
And that we don't understand what we're doing.
They're attracting like moths to a flame.
That's right.
Well, I saw it the first time I was there, and that was enough for me, though. But I would like to see it many times. But how many times do you need to see it to go on further?
I felt an hypocrite when I was speaking about the workshop, but of course I had to speak in that way. But what was running inside my head was that thing, and that thing was a machine.
I think I'm trying to find the face of God in all this.
Next day, in the Upper Valley, I came upon a troop involved in some very tangible research.
We are mainly interested in how much sheep droppings pheasants here compared to the surrounding area. That would tell us a little bit, but I guess if there comes a big light moving in the sky, I couldn't avoid observing it.
It seems odd that the national government would not fund proper research to figure out whether part of their territory had been invaded by unknown craft, but they gladly financed a 3-year, highly detailed survey of sheep shit patterns across Hessdalen's uplands in the very area most prone to UFO visits.
I don't know if I want it to be explained or not. Because when it isn't explained, there will come people here to try to see it and to wonder what it is.
Natural explanation for it? What is it?
We can't tell until we photograph it.
I think it's the sun is shining in something.
Probably like what you saw. I don't know. There's something highly reflective. Everything from a piece of tin foil, a piece of junk, to possibly an earthlight up there. And the only way to figure it out is either to go up there and have a look, or to try to analyze it after taking videos of it.
But what we know now is that the phenomenon is caused by gravity. The atmospheric gas collapses over it, and you have also a strong magnetic field. So it is a central force, a force which normally is invisible. But when it enters in the atmosphere, it becomes visible because of the collapse of the molecule. It is the secret of this one is just in the central nucleus. Not just in the light. The light is only a consequence of
it. Halfway there.
Halfway?
Yeah.
Wow.
Halfway to finding awareness.
Jeez, I don't know. I really don't know. I guess obviously like the longer you're here, the more chance you have of seeing something, but we can't really stay here for a year, can we? You know, because I'm even starting to doubt, like, because they have just been absolutely nothing for the last 2 nights, then starting to doubt the thing we saw the first night, you know?
Yes, I was with my binocular on the roof of my car. I had all the time to make a clear focus, to see, to think about. I saw like the screen of the notebook. After 10 minutes, I got completely panic. And I jumped in my car. I drove.
He was about to abandon me there.
Yes. But
Yes.
what were you afraid of?
I don't know. I felt a strange feeling.
I also felt that, but I had to approach more to see what I looked there.
Yeah.
There was a figure there.
The Irish have chosen a most desolate upland for their last night's chance. Trained for looking into far space, they had so far failed to trap a light so close. So new to the mystery, how could fate let them succeed where others had not? I hoped that even if they might not make a giant leap in our knowledge of the unknown, they could yet add some jot of proof to that so tediously gathered by all the other light hunters.
There can't be one single thing that's creating all these different shapes.
I mean,
You need to like have one specific light.
I mean, think of all the people we've talked to who have actually seen the lights, right? We interviewed the pastor, the doctor. We interviewed a lot of other people who just didn't see them, like.
Yes, that light is just a lamp out of a cow house.
Oh,
yes, I can see very well.
Massimo has achieved some scientific advances and still believes technology might one day catch up with the mystery.
And if I do this, I don't...
If we want to do the things well, we need at least $500,000.
Right.
If not, I get annoyed to come for the 5th time to Hessdalen. I must find some crazy guy. I know of a billionaire man who gave $1 million to his dog.
Oh dear.
So I think he is a tobacconist.
Who is Massimo?
Eh?
Who is this?
I don't know.
I start to bark.
The Irish leave without a single image in their spectrograph. Bjarne and Ruth Marie saw vast machines. I saw a light, but I'm not haunted by it. Massimo continues to seek for proper funds and wonders about lights elsewhere. The supernatural has preoccupied mortals forever. I knew I would never come back to Hessdalen. The solution to the phenomenon is no longer my obsession. I am cured.